Hi guys, and welcome back to another video on the Hunks and Bunks channel. Today we're going to be discussing everything transfer news, Kovacic, Gvardiol potentially, and of course, as Thomas is an Arsenal fan, we'll be covering the Declan Rice deal as well. He seems ever likely to be going to Arsenal.
It's going to happen, isn't it? It's going to happen. We have beat Man City out of the signing of Declan Rice. To be honest, I'm not sure how much interest there actually was there from Man City, purely because they just don't need him. I look at their squad, right? And this is my thoughts on it. I think we've overspent for a start. It's going to get done, you'd imagine, but we've overspent. He's probably about a £70 million player at best. Is he an upgrade on Thomas Partey? Probably not. But anyway, I'll move on from that.
Could be.
He isn't. He just isn't. Partey was the best or top three CDMs in the league for 3/4 of the season last season, and then tailed off at the end. He just isn't better than Partey. He's got different attributes. He's probably a bit more attacking, a bit more offensive, but like he might become better than him, but right now he's not. Is he an upgrade if you were to play him in the Xhaka role? Yeah, absolutely. But it looks like we're going to sell Partey. From Man City's point of view, I didn't even understand why they'd even be interested. They've sold Gundogan and brought in Kovacic. Seems to be a like-for-like swap. Yeah, Kovacic doesn't score as much, but like it's pretty much the same player. They've got Rodri, so like it begs the question, like where is Rice going to fit into that team? And it does strike me as what Eni Aluko has said. Where like Arteta said to Pep, can you just put in a bid here and help me out a bit? It just strikes me as that sort of thing more than anything. So I mean, I don't really know what to say on that. I'm not overly impressed by the price tag. I'd rather have Caicedo if it was about that price tag, but it is what it is. We're getting a player who is going to be at the club for 10 years, maybe less, but he's 24. Proven at the international level, a very good player, solid in all the metrics, leads the league in tackles and interceptions. So I don't think you can really scoff at it.
No.
I'm sort of hesitant to be too excited about it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. With the City thing as well, I think Calvin Phillips could have a nice a good resurgence this next season as well. He'll be more involved, I think, this season. I do think you're looking like that, but I think there's a lot of players at City.
I think he's going.
This sort of thing. I don't think he's going. He's already said himself that he wants to stay. If the player wants to stay, usually City don't force them out the door. Especially these players that we've got at the moment. They're all top quality. Calvin Phillips is a good
player. But is he
good
enough?
I don't think he's a City player, but I don't know. I really don't know.
I don't think he's good enough for City. Like I don't think he's got the ability in him to be, say, a Rodri or anyone in your midfield. He doesn't have the potential. I don't think he's got the potential ability to match any of the midfielders. So he's always going to be a bench player. So even if he plays more, he's not going to start. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
I do kind of get what you mean, but I don't know. He might play a bit more this season coming up. If you look at it currently, Gundogan.
It's hard to play less.
Yeah, I know he will be playing more. I actually could see him. I don't know if I could see him playing with Rodri. I don't know with a double pivot. I don't know if Pep might give that a go, because if you think we are lacking a bit of depth in midfield, if Bernardo Silva goes as well, then we're definitely lacking a bit of.
But that links to a different,
De Bruyne missing the first
point. Well, because apparently you're going for Vega. So
yeah.
So I mean, if you get Vega, then Phillips is surely going to be sold.
No, because I think I don't know. I don't know, because De Bruyne is missing the first 2 or 3 games of the season, and he's 32 now. I mean, we do it's almost at the point where you've got to start looking at a long-term replacement for De Bruyne as well. I personally think Phil Foden might be that sort of player. I think he'll drop back into midfield when De Bruyne leaves. I do really think that. When he came on in the Champions League final, I thought he was really promising, and he is a good ball carrier. There's
some hot takes here. Phil Foden is nowhere near the creative level of.
No, I know, but I think he will step into that position when De Bruyne leaves. I do think he will.
Maybe it'll be a different balance to the squad though to get that many chances out of the squad.
Yeah,
he hasn't got the ability. I don't even think he's got the potential ability of De Bruyne. De Bruyne is probably like top 3 Premier League midfielders of all time at this point.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I don't. It's not replaceable, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if Foden dropped back into midfield, to be honest. Because every time I've seen him now, I thought he's been good because, as I say, a good ball carrier.
I wouldn't be surprised if Jack
got his head
Grealish
up
did
as
it.
well. Jack Grealish-
I'm not saying he's creative
Yeah,
enough, but as playing as an 8, I wouldn't be surprised if he did that.
yeah, yeah. My only thing is that I think Grealish is so dependent on cutting in. I think that would be slight difficulty for him in the midfield. But
Yeah, maybe. I mean, going on to other sort of transfers, you touched upon it before, but Gvardiol,
yeah,
heavily linked, another £100 million from Man City. It's almost like 115 charges don't matter, but whatever.
no, I mean, to be honest with you, I've not seen much of Gvardiol. I'm not going to act like I have done, but the slight snippets I've seen he's quite fast, physical, decent on the ball, good in the air as well. He scored against City actually in the Champions League this season. Yeah, I'm at the point, to be honest, where I just trust whatever City the board want to do for City. I mean, you can't not be at this point as a City
from
fan.
what I've seen, from what I've heard, from what I've watched. I've not watched a lot, granted. He just looks like Nathan Ake on steroids. He's just a better Nathan Ake.
I know
He's
what you mean.
quicker.
Yeah,
He's taller. He can play left back. He can play left centre back in a free. He can play centre back. He has amazing technical ability from what I've seen, and he's left footed.
yeah,
Like he is just everything Nathan Ake is, but better.
yeah.
And that's not saying Nathan Ake is a bad player, but that's saying that the upgrade there is going to be mental.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, while that's completely true, it is more of a Laporte replacement, to be honest, because he's inevitably going to leave. I think at the end in this window, he's been almost expressed his desire to leave for a bit.
He barely plays though, doesn't he, Laporte?
Yeah, he barely plays at all, and I mean, it's unbelievable how we're still building on this unbelievable side. And to be honest with you, I know it sounds ridiculous, but I almost think that once you won a treble, and with the age of some of the players that we've got at the club, it's almost the perfect time for a rebuild because now you've got the whole. I feel like it's a perfect time to rebuild because if I know the desire is not lacking within the City squad because we just keep going on and winning so many trophies. But while that said, Pep said it himself. You do have to replace players throughout a long spell under management because
City
it's difficult to maintain the level. I don't think so. I don't think it will be as good as this season, but I still don't think it's gonna. I still back us to win the league again. Definitely, still back.
I think if you lose Bernardo Silva, like rumored, it's not going to be easy.
Yeah, Bernardo Silva. He's the biggest. If you had to tell me one player who's linked with moving away this summer that I want to make sure stays, Bernardo Silva is the one who I want to stay. He's so good. He's so hardworking. I mean, he feels like multiple positions. He was playing at left back earlier in the season. He's such a hard-working player, and it's so strange as well because when he first joined us, he was this seemingly technical winger, almost like I don't know, maybe like a Mahrez type. Take them on. Played against us for Monaco as well, and he was that sort of tippy-tappy winger. And then all of a sudden, under Pep, he's just been transformed into an unbelievable box-to-box midfielder as well. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean,
under Pep,
I think City will rightfully be favourites for the league. I don't think they'll win a treble again next season.
No.
But then it's weird, right? Because City, for like the majority of this season, I watched them at the start for the first sort of 6 months. Thought they ain't the City of old. Like they ain't even that good. Like the games where they just were not good. Wasn't connected. I think that's the FA Cup 1-0 win again. And that was even quite late in the game on that day. And they weren't connected as with City come the end of the season. And then they were perilous and just sort of won every game. And it's like that. And they just get through it. But moving on, because I think we spoke about City enough there.
Yeah.
Liverpool have been linked today with monitoring the situation for Dominic Szoboszlai. Now, he's obviously a winger come midfielder for Leipzig, one of the hottest prospects around, 2 years ago now? Was it Salzburg he was at? And then he moved. His natural progression seems to be a club like Liverpool. He seems to
Yeah.
be a good player. I haven't watched him regularly again. Like I've only seen snippets of him when I've watched Gvardiol and them in the same team. But other than that, not really too much. But what do you make of this? 70 odd million pounds is his release clause.
Yeah, yeah, it's an interesting one. I was just thinking then, we mentioned a few players, and if you include Nkunku as well, Leipzig are possibly going to get raided this summer. I think Gvardiol and Nkunku and Szoboszlai it's a tough summer for them. But yeah, whenever I've seen him, he just seems really dynamic. He's quite unique as well because he's relatively tall for the speed that he's got.
Quite injury prone.
Yeah, yeah, he is prone to injury, isn't he? But yeah, he's proper dynamic. I mean, I'm not sure. I'm not sure he fits in at Liverpool because, from what I know, he's more of a number 10 than anything. And Liverpool's system, I'm not sure how that works with Liverpool's system because is he going to be almost like a false nine, like Gakpo's been doing, or is he going to
Might
start
be
in
like an 8.
midfield? Yeah,
Might play like an 8, but like I think he's got the ability to play as an 8. But he reminds me a lot when I've watched him in the snippets of Kai Havertz.
right.
Just a
Okay, yeah,
6'2" sort of hybrid player. It's just he's obviously left-sided, whereas Kai's more right-sided,
yeah. Mm,
which also relates to another transfer. I don't know if you've seen leaked around on the internet yesterday, but the sort of interview of Kai Havertz in an Arsenal shirt was going around, as well as pictures of his unveiling, etc. Granted, they hadn't been announced by the club yet, so I don't know what they're going to make of that. But that being said, what do you think of that signing?
Yeah, it's an interesting one to be honest because obviously didn't hit his best form at Chelsea. Very influential, that said, in the Champions League final, of course, which still haunts me to this day. But yeah, I think under Arteta he could genuinely come into a great spell of form, and it just depends where he plays. I have genuinely no clue where Kai Havertz's best position is. I don't know if it's false nine. I don't think
It's not striker.
it's not as a nine. I know it's not as a nine, but is it as a 10? Is it as
I
almost like
think
a second, like
I think he'll
not a
play.
nine?
I think what it'll be. This is just from complete opinion. I'd imagine Erdegaard might take a step back and be more like an 8, but more like defensive of the two.
Yeah,
Because we can see he can do that with the pressing. As much as you lose to 15 goals, you might get, say, 10 to 8 or whatever, 10 to 8 goals. He'll be a bit more defensive.
yeah,
And then you'll have Havertz playing as an 8, but more the attacking 8, sort of. So Erdegaard plays more the Xhaka role, and
yeah,
Havertz plays the Erdegaard role, because Xhaka is obviously the left side, whereas Havertz is a right-sided player. And if you were doing it to Arteta's system, maybe that would work more. He'll be good at arriving into the box. I saw some stat that at Leverkusen he scored something like 80 odd, 90 odd goals, and 70% of his goals were from the left side of the box, which is
right.
weird when you think about a left-footed player.
Yeah,
Usually you'd think they'd like cutting in, but with that, maybe he just plays like for like where Xhaka plays. He's not a striker, but
no.
all of Arteta's signings and players, when you look at them being Trossard, Martinelli plays two positions sometimes. Jesus can play on the right and left. You even got Zinchenko midfield or left back, White right back or centre back. Like nearly all his players he's focused on are adaptable, and I think he likes a front line that can move around in game and change, chop and change as we speak. So from that point of view, Havertz is a good signing. My opinion is 65 million is absolutely batshit crazy for a player who scored 7 goals last year, 19 in total in the league in the 3 years at Chelsea. A player who went for £72 million to Chelsea 3 years ago. And other than a Champions League winner and a big goal for Germany, he hasn't done much to shout about. Defensively, he's good. Technically, he's good. If he lives up to his promise from Bayer Leverkusen, yes, he'll be worth it. But it's a big risk for a player who hasn't proven it.
Yeah.
Really at all.
I was thinking, considering Chelsea trying to offload players, I was thinking it would be around 50 million. I was thinking that would be realistic for Kai Havertz. He's still relatively young. He's got, there's good potential for growth there as well. I was thinking around 50 million, but 65 is just, It's a little bit too much. I mean,
It
it's
just
not
feel, it just feels
not
like
as bad as the
Arsenal have
Rice.
money. Arsenal have money, and teams sort of must know that, and are trying to hold them to ransom. And they're like, "Oh, you're here, right? I'm going to charge you this much,"
Mm.
sort of thing. Like, and we're just saying, "Yeah, go on, why
Yeah.
not?"
I mean, at least you didn't nibble at the Mudrick thing last year, I suppose. I mean, at least you're doing it now with especially with the Rice one. At least you're nibbling at good players. I think Mudrick was a really unproven player at that point, and that would have been
Yeah,
a really big,
I
like a
mean,
big
we tried to
at
nibble
Chelsea.
at it. We tried
Yeah,
to nibble at it. Chelsea just didn't let us nibble at it. But
yeah,
right, moving on then. Who's the next one? Caicedo to Chelsea. We'll talk
mm.
about that for a bit. And then maybe like one or two more. But Caicedo to Chelsea, Madison to Tottenham, and then I
Yeah,
think we can finish off on maybe Ward-Prowse to West Ham as a rumour I saw today.
yeah, yeah. That sounds good.
So Caicedo to Chelsea. What are your thoughts?
I love Caicedo. For starters, I just want to get this out there. I really like Caicedo. I think he's so. Whenever I see him, he's just spot on. And the fact that he's been playing, I
Yeah,
saw him. One of the games that I was the most impressed with him for was when he was playing. It was away at Newcastle, and he was at right back. It's unbelievable. It just shows the versatility of him. He was standing out playing right, and it's not even his position. He's brilliant. Yeah, great ball carrier. Quite physical as well. In my head, he's not ridiculously tall. He's relatively average height, around 5'10", I think. But he's a right battler in the midfield, which I think, to be honest, I think is something that Chelsea need. To be honest, especially with Kovacic leaving, he's that sort of battling midfielder. I think Enzo Fernandez and
they're
Caicedo,
replacing. They're
albeit they're
replacing
very
Kante.
expensive,
They're
and
replacing Kante with
that's the one.
Kante's regen.
Yes. So I mean,
So,
albeit very, very expensive, Enzo Fernandez and Caicedo would be a very solid midfield in my eyes. Very solid.
absolutely. I think Caicedo is phenomenal. I mean, when there was links saying we're going to go for Caicedo, I was all for it. But
Yeah.
I'm sad that it's not happened. Out of the two, I'd rather have Caicedo than Rice.
Yeah.
But that being said, Caicedo is joining an absolute shit show at Chelsea. So it's
Yeah.
like, will he be able to show his ability? Maybe not. I mean,
Yeah.
they're adding players like Jackson when the issue this season was they have too many players.
Yeah.
And then when you look at it, they're probably looking at another midfielder. And imagine they're going to look at a few other players. They need to get rid of so many players.
Yeah.
Like, is Azpilicueta still there? He needs to go.
Yeah. He's been. I think he's going to Inter actually. He's
Right.
been.
Okay. Well, they've just got loads of players. Like Lukaku needs to leave. They've still got loads to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he's a great player, and good luck to him. But not good luck to him at the same time. It's Chelsea. But yeah, I think 70 million, to be honest, is a bargain.
I think that's
they
good.
rejected that in the summer, in the January window, which is a bit of a dodge, like a bit annoying because like you've rejected it once. Why are you like now accepting the same?
Yeah.
But I suppose it got them Europe, so then again,
Yeah.
Worthwhile for them. In terms of other transfers, I just thought of one. Tonali to Newcastle seems
Yes.
like the dawn of a new age.
Yeah.
Newcastle splashing the cash. Apparently, Tonali didn't want to leave and cried when he was leaving, but because AC Milan need money, they've sold their star. They've sold the little Italian, and the only thing I will say is the balance of that midfield is very defensive. Even now, they're all battlers.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Bruno and Tonali are basically the similar profile in terms of
Very
where they play, at least. Even if though they've got different ability sets. And then whether you put Joe Linton in there, whether you put Joe Willock in there as a bit more offensiveness.
Yeah.
They're still very defensive.
It is, yeah. To be honest, I really thought that Maddison would have gone to Newcastle. And to be honest, if you look at maybe, I don't know, Joe Linton, Bruno Guimaraes, and Maddison, I think that's quite a nice balance in midfield because Joe Linton's almost the box to box. Bruno sits in a little bit more, and then Maddison's obviously the more like a number 10. But yeah, you're right. Tonali, from what I've heard anyway, he's very much a 6. He's not. I don't know if you do the 8. I don't know. I've not watched much of him, but it just seems a little bit strange to spend. I mean, 70 million. It's a lot of money, and it's it is almost like, I mean, Isak was very much a big statement signing from them, but this almost, because it's a new window and it's the first proper window that I think they're properly going to go out and spend big money on
Yeah.
potential players. It's almost like this is the proper statement from Newcastle. We're not here to mess around. We're going to go for the big players, and we're going to try and make sure and maintain the fact that we're going to be in the Champions League next season.
Yeah, no, I agree. He's a great player from what I've heard, but it
Yeah.
just annoys me because of the money and financial doping and stuff like that. Anyway, who's
What can
another
I
player
say?
to
What
talk
can I
about?
say?
Yeah, no, you can't comment, can you? As a City fan, scumbag. What else? What other transfers are
I
there?
think Madison's worth noting as well. I just briefly mentioned him there. Um,
Yeah,
I mean, for Spurs, I have thought for a while. I think many people have as well that this type of player is exactly what they've needed, an attacking
he's
midfielder.
for no. Madison's a great player. Tottenham have done well to get him. From a Madison point of view, when you have Newcastle or Spurs, I don't understand it. You join an absolute shit show where they're going to end up losing Kane potentially to Bayern.
Yeah.
The squad isn't great.
No.
The manager's unproven, and he's joined them. It is an upgrade on Leicester, so I can semi-understand it. But surely you go to Newcastle if that option's open,
I would have
which
thought.
means that it probably wasn't open. I'd imagine.
I'm starting to think that because the Champions League football versus no Europe. I mean, surely it's a
Yeah.
no-brainer that you go to the Champions League football.
And it's not like
Yeah.
Spurs have a promising future. They're going to lose the best player, which arguably would mean that they'd come in the bottom half if they
Could
lost
see
this season.
they could be next season's Chelsea, definitely. It's not like they had a good season as the season just passed, but I wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised, to be honest. It's all dependent on how the manager works with the players, to be honest, because if he ends up not getting a hold of the dressing room and there will almost be another managerial disaster at Spurs, then it could just be another roll on, roll off of managers. And then there's nothing up. I can't. There's no way they'll get Europe for me if that happens again.
There's no way to leave it. If they don't have a good, decent season and play nice football, I don't think Levy stays. I think he's going to get hounded out.
Yeah. I think
But
that.
yeah.
I mean, for Spurs to go back, I don't even know what it needs now because I think Levy going will be a massive factor if Spurs do get back to challenging for the Champions League every season. But it's almost like I don't know, the appointments just haven't been that good. I don't think because I think Spurs need a manager who's going to play attacking football and get the best out of Harry Kane, Heung-min Son, and now having James Maddison. I think it's brilliant because now Harry Kane's got great players around him. Don't get me wrong, he's got Kulusevski, he's got Son who feed into him brilliantly. But in the defensive formation that they've been playing, it doesn't just work like that. It doesn't just go straight to Kulusevski or Son and then Harry Kane's fed in. There's got to be a man who's linking everything together, and I think James Maddison will be exactly that, to be honest.
I mean, I don't think Kane will be there.
I don't know because I don't think United are going to sign him, and part of me just thinks Harry Kane will want to stay in the Premier League to get the all-time record.
What good? Right, seriously, what good is an all-time record if you've not got a single trophy to your name? Like it doesn't matter.
Oh, come on. Yes, it does. It does.
I'd rather win a trophy than be the top scorer in the Premier League of all time. I'd rather major trophy. I mean,
the thing is, Alan Shearer.
I'm not saying like a Carabao Cup.
You can't forget that. Alan Shearer only won one Premier League. I know it's still one more than Harry Kane, but the point is, if he can prove himself, if he can score the most goals in Premier League history, that is surely his biggest goal. I don't see.
But he did that. But Alan Shearer isn't really widely regarded as the best Premier League striker of all time anymore. He's regarded as the best goal scorer. But like you look at Suarez or Henry, etc. There are these people in conversations as being better. So I'm like, I don't know. But like, for example, as of right now, if Haaland continues his vein for 4 or 5 years of form, he's going to be regarded as a better Premier League striker than Harry Kane. And
it's difficult to say that because I don't think so, to be honest. I don't think so. Because
I mean, you give if which he won't because he'll move to Real Madrid or something. But if Haaland stays for 7-8 years on this form, the record's going to be obliterated anyway. So what's the point of Kane staying for an extra 3 years?
He won't. I don't think Haaland will get there unless he stays over the whole time at City, stay 7, 8 seasons, and he won't do, like you say. I think he'll be here 4 or 5, and then
I just think for the good of Kane and his career, he should go. He should move.
I know what you mean. It's just I think it is. I'm not sure. I think Harry Kane, if he was going to have moved, he would have already moved. I think he would have properly forced himself out if he wanted to. There's been a
He
couple
tried.
of the
He
window.
tried to when City came in.
I know, but it's basically the same story this time. I don't think. I think.
Yeah,
I
but
don't think.
Levy can now sell abroad. He didn't want to sell to the Premier League. That
Yeah,
was the issue.
yeah. I don't know. I don't know.
He could sell.
I think he's missed. He's going to be staying in the Premier League. I think Harry Kane. He wants that record. It's obvious he wants to be the top goal
He's
scorer.
not a real. He's clearly not a real winner, then, is he?
I mean, he's been at Spurs his whole career. He's not been taught it, has he?
Exactly. All of this would change in an instinct. Like if he won something with England, then obviously it changes things. But that's not going to happen.
No, probably not. Probably not.
So, yeah. Anyway, that's been all from me for and Alex for Hunts and Bunks for this transfer roundup. We talked about the transfers that are ongoing throughout the Premier League and potentially away from the Premier League. We will be uploading a lot more often now. Alex has finished his exams. I have to work it around my work schedule, which is hard, but we will do more videos going out. So please be sure to subscribe for more from us, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.